Tehela. The lyrics of this song are composed by the Holy Ari, and the melody by Baal Salam. For this reason, due to the unification of the Ari and Baal Salam in one composition, we entering into this song really reach the highest ascent that a Kabbalist can experience before the general final correction, where the entire world rises to that very palace. So this is a very elevated song, like an anthem of ascent. This state, so far, is being attained only by those who study Kabbalah, and later, we expect all of humankind will attain it.
Kilat
Nafshi are words from the Psalms. These are the words that King David used to express his state that he felt as he ascended in his attainment to the state of complete correction of his entire soul. Then he turned to the upper force, the Creator, with these words, which mean, "Thank you for saving my soul." The melody of this song was composed by my teacher, the last great Kabbalist of our generation, Rabbi Baruch Shalom Halevi Ashlag, Rabash. He sang this song to me more than once. Maybe this melody seems sad to us, but in truth, it's not sad. It's tender, and it expresses the feeling of someone who enters the property of Bina, bestowal, the properties of the Creator, where there are no cries and everything rests in peace. Rabash expresses the entering into this state through this melody. When he undoubtedly sees that all of his kelim, his entire soul, all of his desires submit to this upper force and begin to reign in it. This is a short song. It sings about a serene peace, about a man entering the upper force and staying there in the state of absolute rest, the peace of the worlds.
Chazal
Seder Pesach expresses a state of a person at the beginning of his path. He's full of energy. He's ready for his journey. And he knows that the process of correction lies in front of him until he corrects himself to receive the light, the Torah. But in Exodus from Egypt, rising above his nature, he already sees a full guarantee that with the help from above, he has the power and he is able to do it. And that all of this is prepared for him. Past these 49 gates, corrections, the so-called Lag Bomer, the 33rd day of Omer, in the middle and all the days of Omer, in order to come to the reception of the Torah.
Tzaddik Ketamar Efrach.
Tzaddik Ketamar Efrach. Basically, there are two states in every song. One is the state of the Kli, the soul on which the man has worked, corrected, and then attained delight and excitement, and he now sings from this delight. This is why in Tzaddik Ketamar Efrach, there's a sensation of the previous state when one lacked fulfillment, suffered and searched. And that he reached the state in which he knows that this is how it was supposed to be. Because a righteous man eventually comes to justify the entire process through which he has passed. Thus the rapture that comes from before being in the outermost oppositeness of sensing himself very distant from the Creator. And now he enters the palace of the king. And the upper world, it bursts out of him in his present state in the form of a melody. And the melody comes from within the sensation that fills him. This sensation encompasses two opposite states. In his previous, most distant state that seems hopelessly far from the upper, and in the present state when he has reached adhesion with him. In essence, this song is special because one's grateful, but not for his sake. Rather, one is grateful for being able to be righteous, meaning for being able to justify the Creator in all that happened to him on his path. He sees now the causality and inevitability of all the states that he passed. He understands that all of them were arranged for him from above so that he could attain this elevated state.
Lagid baboker chazdecha.
Lagid baboker chazdecha expresses states that we experience in our world. When we fall asleep, we in essence lose awareness, disconnect from the world and from life. We enter a state where we're detached from life, and we're left only with so-called kista de chayuta, a level of minimal life, when in essence we're not sure whether we will rise after sleep or not. So why do we rise? all of a sudden we receive some awakening from within, and then we wake up and again continue our life on a new day. But this state, in which we disconnect from reality and enter into dreams, is very special. It's similar to states that exist in the spiritual as well, and this is because everything that exists in the corporal is the result of the spiritual. And this is why in the spiritual there are also states called day, evening, and morning. Only that in the spiritual, all of them happen because man himself creates day, night, and all of the times. He puts himself through these states by himself. If he doesn't take himself through these states, if he doesn't push himself, does not advance, then time does not pass. For there's no time in the spiritual. There are only actions, cause and effect. So until one goes to sleep in the spiritual sense, meaning disconnects from the spiritual reality, and puts himself into drowsiness, a disconnection from the spiritual, the Creator, the upper forces, one performs special corrections whereby he prepares the desire to rise inside of himself. If one prepares himself correctly, the upper light comes against these desires and wakens him, just as the sun awakens us in the morning. However, without the light that comes from above, one will not be able to wake up. In essence, this is why after one rose in the morning, meaning awakened again for the spiritual, this is called rise in the spiritual, he praises the upper force, the Creator who awakened him and gave him the awakening for reaching the goal of creation, corrections, sublime, eternal, perfect states. And then one sings, "Proclaim your mercy in the morning," because this is really mercy from the higher that awakens him. Waltz is a very special melody. It's truly classical, with all the characteristics of a waltz corresponding to our traditions. This melody does not belong to Bala Salam, though it did come to us through him. He heard it from his Rav, Admor from Persov, who educated him. Bala Salam lived in Warsaw, just like his parents. There was a small village close to Warsaw, Persov. And in this village lived Rabbi from Persov. He was a Kabbalist, and when Bala Salam was growing up, he used to go to visit him together with his father. Bala Salam's father also studied with the Rabbi from Persov. And gradually, as Bala Salam grew up, Rabbi from Persov started to draw him closer to himself. Through him, Bala Salam attained the revelation of the Creator, the spiritual, and became a Kabbalist. After a certain period of time, Bala Salam started to discover that he surpassed his teacher. Bala Salam then left and went to the land of Israel. This melody came from Rabbi from Persov, passed on to Bala Salam, from him to my Rav, and I heard it from him.
Kel Mistater זה שיר
Kel Mistater is a song that we sing towards the end of Shabbat, at the end of the day, when we're already approaching the coming out, the